to make sure.
You could have accidentally hit it.
I think
you're good.
Yep, and it says on my phone that we're doing it. Hey, welcome to Bakarama episode. I think this is episode 6. My name is Dan.
I'm Luke.
And I'm Cameron.
And today we are going to be talking about Konosuba, the show that we watched. So where do we start? I mean, this was technically, Cameron, this was technically your homework, but I think it was. Yeah, Luke kind of recommended it.
Well, no. You do not get to take my homework choice away from me just because Cameron. I was.
Hey, look, I'm not. No one's taking away your homework, man. We're just saying that, like, you were the one who watched it before all of us.
Oh yeah, definitely. I watched it a lot when it came out, when it was streaming, and it was. I originally thought it was going to be stupid as hell, and it was, but in all the best ways.
Yeah, like I think that's a pretty good descriptor of what it is.
I liked it. I liked parts of it. I really liked it when I first started it. As the show went on, I kind of gathered it was less of a deconstruction than it's kind of just weird parody. But we'll get to that. So Konosuba, what it's about is standard MC dies or gets transported to another world, and where he's a NEET in one world, but then he can be this cool adventurer in the other. But
what is a NEET? I never really got
not in education or
not engaged in employment, education, or training, something like that. Basically, a housewife is not a NEET, but a student is not a NEET. It's describing someone who's basically, you can count underemployed as in someone who has a very small part-time job, but I think it's like under 8 hours a week or something. Unfortunately, there's like literally a million NEETs.
It's what's the word? Is it hikikomori or whatever it is the actual word? Another word for it? Something like that?
Yeah. It's well, that's a more. I think that's more of a specific, like, NEET. You can do stuff and be
right. Yeah, but the hikikomori is the shut-ins that don't do anything.
Yeah.
It's the ones who basically shut themselves in their house and never leave the house.
Yeah.
They're a subset of NEET.
Okay, cool. Do continue.
Who, me?
You were the one talking.
Good. Okay.
I really interrupted you, and I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. We have our main character named something or other. And
Kazuma.
Kazuma. It's Kazuma.
We made the point of opening up this page before we did
I wasn't looking at it. And he is in it. He plays a lot of MMOs. Went to buy an MMO, dies in a comical fashion, which I had found pretty funny. So he has the choice of starting this new fantasy world, but he can pick one item or one thing.
Just a quick side note. This world is slowly losing people due to the Demon King's reign. So they're looking for brave people to be reincarnated in this world to save it.
Fair enough.
I did not catch that part.
Yeah, it's right at the beginning where it's like, if you what is it? If you defeat the Demon King, then you can go back home or something like that. There's some.
I don't remember the full thing, but you'll get
some caveat.
You'll be go to be reincarnated in some kind of like grand fashion. But in compensation for going to this world, they'll give you whatever you ask for to take with you.
Yeah, which is nice because this goddess Aqua is making fun of him. So it's like, fuck you, I'm taking you with me. Like, if I'm going down, I'm taking.
Yeah, going alone. Just one vindictive, just like, oh, you're gonna make fun of me? Fine. Which fuck you. Let's go.
Because that's totally what I would have done. Like, I was.
That is a very you thing to do.
Yeah, I'd be like, fuck you. No lessons are learned here now, are they? Yeah.
But I'm kind of immediately being reborn into this world with absolutely nothing and a pretty worthless follower.
Yeah, so you have
it does in fact swiftly become apparent that the goddess is just about as useless as he is.
I mean, in some ways, but it's something where
she's a higher level than he is, but she's also an idiot. So like,
but she's usual. she's also has a good relationship with the guild and makes money that way. It's good for morale. Like, she has a lot of things and a lot of useful abilities, but you're right in the sense of, like, she also runs up a lot of debts. So
yeah, she runs up a hell of a lot of debts, and she's usually complaining about something, and
she's usually the cause of most of the main characters' problems.
Well, it's kind of like
complaining.
Yeah, I kind of see her a bit like a magical Swiss Army knife, where it's like by herself she's not that great, but like she's very useful if you know how to use her. Like, oh well, we need to purify this lake. We could.
Well, that was her own thing.
Bring the goddess. Well, yeah, it's interesting that they didn't actually
that was
about.
Pretty much my favorite thing ever. It's like,
I did actually. Touch it. Yeah, I did like that. I like that this anime is a lot of it's like, well, how do we do this the most? It was a combination of like, oh, we don't know what we're doing. Fuck it, let's wing it. And it was like, it was kind of split between well thought out plans and plans where they're like, I don't know, let's just wing it. Let's not
get ahead of ourselves here. Basically, their party sucks.
Yeah, so they have
they're failing low level quests, and they unsuccessful at everything.
So the main character is a jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah. His follower is a goddess who's great at purification and like a bunch of cool things, but also
she's an priest.
Yeah,
she's an archpriest, yeah.
So but just like a super high level, high ranking starting class, like it's very rare or whatever.
So they soon acquire a additional follower who is Megami, who's the essence of a glass cannon, is just someone who can do devastating.
So toony, it's hilarious.
Yeah, so she can do a huge amount of damage one time per day.
And because explosion magic is the best magic, that is all she will ever learn. Explosion magic.
And so she can do a shit ton of damage once, and then she is literally just collapses on the ground. And then you have the quintessential, darkness, who is the quintessential. It's this tank who can take a lot of damage, cannot hit for shit, but also is this weird masochistic individual, which I actually really liked. I thought that was kind of funny. I like that. I like the dynamic of the group. It's an interesting idea.
I love the fact that they're all just basically it's a group of failures that have the most success.
It's a bit like well, I don't know. Sounds weird. I've made pasta and like there's you have all the offcuts of dough and you're like, well, I gotta do something with this. So you kind of like sweep it together and push it down. It's like, oh, okay, it's another piece of pasta. Like it's something where it's not the best pasta, but it does technically count as pasta. If that makes any sense.
That is a bizarre metaphor, but it's
one of those where they are the grouping of like all the failures of their class into one.
It's
group.
the B team. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
It's like the Z team.
Fair enough.
It's the Z team that for some reason like ends up being success face at things and for whatever reason, basically because it's a good story and they're the main focus. This looking at my diligently typed out notes, this was directed by Takayomi Kanasaki, who also did Tokyo Ravens, Is This a Zombie, Magician's Academy, MA Project, School Rumble Second Term, and he did key animation stuff like By 100D and storyboards on stuff like Evangelion, and so he's apparently been around for a little while.
Pretty legit.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. It was based on a manga by Natsumi Akatsuki, who, from what I can tell, has basically just done Konosuba and spin-offs of Konosuba.
There is a lot of spin-offs.
Yeah. There's actually one. I'm gonna blow through all my fucking notes. There's actually one spin-off OVA of the actual anime called A Blessing to This Wonderful Choker, because the full title of the show is in English is A Blessing on This Wonderful World, and so A Blessing to This Wonderful Choker is basically Kazuma goes into a store and finds a choker that if you put it on, it can grant you a wish.
Okay.
And so he puts it on and he asks for a wish, but then like passes out or something like that and forgets what he wished for. So and the caveat for some reason is that if you don't get your wish granted within 4 days, you die.
Okay.
So it somehow turns into the other 3 female compatriots have to do everything that he says to somehow fulfill the wish or he's going to die.
Okay. Weird.
Weird is a good description for that.
Awesome movie.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, thoughts. What did you guys think of it?
I loved it. It was great, in my opinion.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of it. It's pretty funny. Yeah, the humor in it was just the right level for me. It worked on just pretty much every level. Like the being stuck in the cage of her own free will. Screaming purification over and over again. Well,
that's an interesting point. So there's a point in the series where they need to purify this big lake, but it's surrounded by alligators and these massive alligators. And so usually what they kind of do is just fumble their way through it. And it's like, you know what? Or sometimes. And then they have like a great idea where it's like, oh, let's, you just need to touch the water. Well, you don't need so you just get a cage and like tie the cage to a big rock and then like just kind of wheel the cage into his lake and then like run behind a tree and it's like hide and look and it's like, okay, if anything, like that cage is sturdy, so it's not gonna get fucked up. Yeah,
pretty much genius.
No, it's a great way of like I like how a lot of this stuff kind of turns into like, oh, let's break the game. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, he's very much, how can I do this the easiest way possible?
Yeah.
And it's just the whole, everything's going fine for like the first like couple hours. And then all of a sudden, the gators show up.
Yeah.
And they're not happy about the water becoming pure.
Yeah. Why did that take so long, by the way? There's no indication that, I don't know.
I think it's just one of those, like, it takes a long time to purify that amount of water. Like if it was a bowl of water, she could purify it in a couple minutes. But that lake's probably massive, So it's think about there's probably a conversion rate of like the way she was just touching it, like just the way she touches it. There's probably like can do X square foot per X amount of time, where the actual casting of purification probably only purifies us. Like they're not endless spells.
Yeah,
each spell probably has a limited like.
No, I got you.
Amount that it can be used on. So I mean, shit like that takes time.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then you're also, factoring in her purification, fighting what's corrupting it, so to speak, or what's polluting it. So it has to purify at a faster rate than it can be corrupted. So it's
I gotcha. Yeah. So, well, I gotta say, I enjoyed aspects of this anime. There were things I didn't like, though. It got a bit... I got the feeling it got a little fillery at the end. There's like... I think episode 8 and 9, I think it was. It was like, oh, we suddenly... here are these characters. You didn't meet them before, but we know them. And it was more like...
Oh, I know they showed, like, the Lich Girl? You met her in one of the episodes.
Yeah... In the previous episodes?
No, I don't think you did, actually.
No, you don't.
In fact, I received this. It was
before that, but like you kind of introduce her in that.
But that's the thing in storytelling. All the other characters have been shown, not told, and this is something where it's like we know this character from this adventure.
Well, also you think about it, your normal show has 12 to 13 episodes. This only has 10.
I gotcha. Yeah, no,
so,
but that's kind of my
kind of jam some of it in.
But I kind of didn't like that. Would have been an interesting thing. Well, like, let me put it this way. It's something where it's like, maybe that would have been its own episode, and they just didn't have
probably budget would have been if they had 11 or 12 episodes.
Yeah. But it's something where, like, I didn't like that. I didn't like that it was just like, there's this person, here's an adventure we did, but you're not seeing it. And it's like, that seemed really interesting, actually. It would have been kind of cool where it's like, yeah, I'm a lich, but I'm actually doing something good. Like, I'm like, without me, these souls aren't going to heaven. They're just ghosts and miserable. Like,
yeah,
I know
I understand what you're saying, but I don't really consider that filler, so to speak. That's
fine. Really. It's not filler, but I didn't like it either way.
Well,
I thought it was.
I thought it was. I thought it, on the one hand, it was kind of interesting because it's like you don't have to watch the filler episode to know this character. But on the other hand, it's like it's not. First of all, it's not very good character development because it's like, oh, this character that we already know, and like part of character development is you're establishing a relationship with that character through the main characters. And
right, but at the same time, though, look at any of the other characters that have been in this show, other than the main 4 or 5. None of them have development. They're there for an episode to disappear.
That's the thing is that you know, even the ones that is like they didn't even bother to develop them before they introduced them, like the Lich Girl. Lich Girl didn't really do a whole hell of a lot. Like, you know, she kind of sort of disappeared in the episode, and then like, you know, then
it's basically they picked up a quest from her. That's basically it.
Yeah, they picked up a quest, but it's like, you know, you bothered to make this character, like, and you bothered to kind of give her a backstory that you're not really going to tell us a whole hell of a lot about, and then you leave her alone, and we don't see anything until like the last episode. Like,
it seems like an issue where like that would be a really cool. That seems like it'd be a really cool character, or like, you know, really kind of cool story arc if that was more fleshed out. But I don't know if it's filler, but it seemed more compressed. Like,
I definitely filler isn't. Yeah, but it's not really filler. Yeah.
Fine.
Filler's like those stupid hot springs.
I know. I gotcha.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what was episode 9? I did not like at all. Like,
that was
the dream one where like it's like one of the things I really liked about most of the series was that Kazuma has these, it's kind of like your typical harem anime and it's set up, but Kazuma doesn't really show any interest in any of them.
That's the thing, like, I liked, where it was like,
yeah, exactly.
It's the thing where it's like all these pretty girls are around him, but they're just like, they're annoying the shit out of him. Like, there's the masochist who's like, oh, please don't. It's like, shut up, shut the fuck up and do your job. And then there's you know, there's Megame who's always eating this food, and Aqua's like this pretty girl, but it's something where it's like, you're so fucking stupid. I just want to do this. Like, I like that. I like that a lot.
I live in a stable because of you.
Like, yeah. I mean, I like that, and I like that. I did like the idea of like, the main character being this kind of like somewhat pervert, like bit of a pervert, in the sense of like, oh, he uses steel abilities.
Well, at the same time, I don't think that's like unintentional on that part. He's not trying to
here's the thing. Well, that's the thing about it is it's like it's unintentional. Like, he doesn't mean to steal their underwear, but once.
But then he's also like, like.
But then he's like, you know, like actually threatening them with stealing their underwear, even though it's clear that it's not actually turning them on or anything like that.
I think he just did that just to intimidate them to get rid of them.
No, but I like that. I like that he's kind of this smart character in the sense of like. I mean, it's something where it's like, well, I guess we'll go fight toads. Do you have a plan? I don't know if we need one. Like, it's something where they kind of figure it out on the fly, or
did
sometimes
they ever really
it's
figure out how to beat those toads? I mean,
they just stab them eventually. But like, it's something
they always came home covered in slime.
Yeah, but I like that where he's the one guy with like. I'm not saying everyone else is stupid, but he's the one guy who's like, listen, like he has the leadership ability simply because he's like. What is it, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man's king, where it's like he's the guy with half a brain in this instance, and it's like, all right, well, I should probably put my skills in something useful, and hey, we should probably get this quest because it's not too, you know, he could kind of plan things out, and I like that.
He's constantly trying to get he's like all she sees is the dollar amount, not the hard how hard it would be.
And I think it's something where like I like the fact that he kind of winged it sometime, but it's not like some things need to be well thought out. It's like, okay,
well, at a certain point, you're coming into this world, and it's like, I don't know how this works.
Yeah,
fuck it, let's go.
Yeah, but like, I liked that. I liked, I don't know, I like that. And then you have, you know, he's kind of like, he's this kind of lonely guy, but he's also he's kind of not though. Like he is a bit lonely, but he's also like, fuck it, this is what I enjoy doing, and. So he's not interested in these girls. He's not interested in, you know, whatever. And like, he's a teenage boy, so he like he jerks off. But it's something where like
that's kind of like the 9th episode. That's showing that he is still a teenage boy who has his
except that it's like but it's like he asks for like a fantasy, and he, like, granted, he doesn't specify, like, okay, so in the episode, spoiler alert, he discovers that there's a magical place somewhere in town run by succubi where they can give you, where basically they get to take a little bit of it's I forgot what they specifically called it, but basically
like your life energy, basically.
They take a little bit of your life energy or your soul, and they give you the dream of your choice, and you get to specify whatever you want. And obviously with the the skimpy outfits and the constantly touching of their tits, it is very well put together what kind of dream you're asking for, and considering the clientele is all male. Now Kazuma, he quickly jots down what he wants, and then through a series of misunderstandings, he ends up in, like, he can't sleep, he ends up in a bathhouse and somehow can't figure out if he's awake or dreaming, and darkness shows up to take a bath. And it's at this point where it's like, he didn't specify this character, and if he spent the entire rest of the series being clearly not interested in the character, like, he's just kind of like, this is funny, this isn't really what I asked for, but I guess it's what's going to happen.
Like, I didn't think it would be this.
And so, but he's just kind of like, at that point, like, if I was in Kazuma's place and it's like, I'm not really interested in these people, like, and all of a sudden that's who shows up, I would probably be more disturbed than anything else. I'd be like, wait a second, I wanted something, he asked for an older woman, and it's like, Darkness isn't clearly that much older than he is, if older at all. Like, it's like, this is the wrong deal. And so it keeps going, and it's awkward and painful, and the whole episode to me is just kind of like,
well, it seemed like a good excuse for
fan
not
service.
Quite, but not, I mean, that's definitely part of it, but also, like, hey, some people are gonna write what is it, where it's like doujins of, like, hentai doujins of this, where it's like, fan comics of this guy fucking a succubi, and it's like, okay, like, I get it, it's fan service in the sense of it's appealing to the fans to, like, kind of do their own thing with this. Like, I like the idea of the succubi, like, hey, we're someone that you would normally destroy, but, like, instead of being predator prey kind of thing, we'll have this symbiotic relationship. And I actually really like the idea of that. But it really, like, any age, they can do whatever, and it's like, okay, to me, it just kind of, like, seemed like they were really like, hey, write hentai about me fucking a 4-year-old. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but it was
pandering.
It was very much pandering, and it was like
the rest of the series has, like, it's got some tit jiggle and a couple weird angles here and there that you see up their skirt or you see their butt. It's a decent amount, but, like, it's not.
I had a friend that tried to
It's not completely in your face.
It's not super. It's obvious, but it's not, like, over the top.
It's not like sword art. It's like, and that's the comparison we're going to have to bring up, because this is basically funny sword art to me. Like, and
it's that type of world. It's that type of premise of, like, it's got a name. I can't think what it is, but transported to another world, basically.
But, like, one thing, I had a friend try and say that had Gary try and say that that was intentional as, like, a parody of it. I'm like, I kind of, like, at the beginning it was like, oh, maybe it is, but then, like, the more it went on, it's like, no, it's not. It's just fan service, and it's like, for something because
that was the impression that you gave me, and I was like, okay, and I watched it, and it was like, not really, like, and when it got to episode 9, it's like, no, now you're just pandering to fucking otaku. Like,
well, hey, you gotta shoot for your target audience.
Well, the frustrating thing is, you could have done that, and you could still, like, had a parody of it, where it's like, I don't know, when it's like a sexy woman standing a certain way, and, like, with her tits, like, out, and just have someone who's like, why are you standing like that? Like, you could draw, there's a way of doing it. Like, you could draw attention. It's like, no one stands, you never stand like that. What are you doing? Like, I don't know.
And they kind of even make fun of Darkness a little. Like Darkness kind of makes fun of the whole thing just on her own. Like she's she's attacked by whoever, and like more of her clothes come off.
Cabbages.
Well, and she's the thing. And she's like, oh no, this is bad, but it's kind of turning me on. And of course, Kazuma's just sitting there like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
well, that's the thing. That's I think the other problem is that they've shown that they can do that. Like, I think Darkness is kind of when I saw him, like, oh god, kind of rolled my eyes. But I thought that they did Darkness's character as like this weird masochist. I thought they actually did that pretty well.
Oh yeah, she's glorious in her in what she is. But like, she plays
but it's not. Yeah, but it's something where it's also still kind of funny, and it actually is. Moves the plot along, as opposed to like, oh, it's blatant fan service. Like, it's something where I like that, but then you have the fan service from the other people, and that's not really like, it's not funny, it's not moving the plot along. It's just like, here's an ass, here's some tits. Like, you know what I mean? It's something where I don't know.
It's annoying. It's a little annoying, but it's not like there's some like I will say like Dusk Maiden of Amnesia, which was very very ecchi, and it's like it just gets in the or fucking like literally like it takes a break from the plot to do like the weird I fell on your boobs thing, which we all read Love Hina. Like that's what episode 9 felt like to me. It's like you're just doing Love Hina again. Yeah. Like it's like we get it. Like it's gonna do something like this. You could have done it clever. Like but it wasn't clever. It was really cliche.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's not even. I agree. It's something they could have done clever, and it's something that. It's like, oh, you could have made that clever, which is easy to say, but they've made other things in the show similarly. Like clever, and it's like it seems like I don't think it's rushed, but it's something where it's like this doesn't feel polished. You know what I mean? There's things where it's like there's ways of integrating all these aspects into the story in a more organic manner. And exactly, but like you could kind of like I don't know, you could kind of have the barmaiden like have a scene where like fucking I don't know, she takes off you see her after hours and she takes off a ring and her fucking chest like shrinks way down. It's like, oh yeah, it's called the ring of like I don't know, increased tips. Yeah, large tips or something like
the ring of giant
something where it's
like
yeah, exactly, and it's like or like takes it off and it's just made of straw.
That would have actually been really
fuck?
Funny.
That would have, and I think that's like you like I mean, listen, like or like you get someone who has a new job, like oh you're the new barmaid and like. She puts on the outfit and like her tits inflate. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. Just something where it's like, oh yeah, it's the character class. Like, you gotta, I don't like it either. Like, there's a way of doing it humorously and still be fan servicey, but they didn't do that for some things. But then they do a reasonably good job with Darkness. So that's what throws me off. It's strange.
It feels like something where like I would like to read the manga and see what the manga is.
I just want to. It's not a manga. It's a light
novel. Well, no. Oh. It is a manga. It was originally a light novel.
Yeah, but it was originally a light novel, and it's just going to be scanlations of the anime. From my experience with buying stuff that came out afterwards, it is going to be literally just the anime chopped up into manga.
It could be. We'll wait and see.
I've had a couple series where I've gone and like, hey, this was a really good show. I want to read the manga. Go pick up the manga. I was like, this is literally just the show. Look it up. It's a light novel adaptation. That's literally what it is.
The dude who did the art for the light novels also did the art for the manga. So it's probably
it'll be very well. I'm not saying it won't be well drawn or like that, but it's literally it's going to be different artwork.
Yeah, I got you.
But there's not going to be any change from the show to the manga.
Fair enough.
That's just my because I've bought like 3 different series that are based off of novels, and they're all just literally from the show.
Yeah. So, I mean, what else?
I mean, like, I think like Kill la Kill is a show that like. It has fan servicey moments, but it also makes a lot of commentary on it. Like, and it's the kind of thing where it's like, we're getting older, and I don't know if it's just what Japan wants or if it's just what they think everyone wants, but it's like at this point, like you can do stuff or like the super ecchi stuff, but you can do it clever, or you can do it making some kind of a comment. Like, and like you said, like to a degree, Darkness is done really well. Is she doesn't really feel forced. It's like, it's like this is like it's not like Darkness doesn't really feel like she's being sexual just to be sexual. It feels like this is legitimately what this character is into, and it creeps into her normal life, and everyone else thinks it's kind of weird because she just does it in really odd times.
And I mean, I like that.
I mean, one thing that I do have to point out, we are getting really super analytical of a show that was designed for kids that were like 13 and up.
No, I don't think it's 13 and up, dude. I mean, like, I could be,
rating
but like,
PG 13 and up.
Yeah, but I also think that's kind of a bullshit excuse as well. Like, I mean,
they're not making it for us. Like, that's what I said. We've aged ourselves out of this genre. Like, this is not. We are not the target audience. What they're shooting for, and quite frankly, for us to try and sit there and demand that show raised to our expectations is kind of ridiculous.
No, I'm not. Well, that's kind of, in a sense, if this is for 13-year-olds, that's actually more disappointing because that's like kind of this is how you're getting your. It sounds super stupid. I hate that I'm saying this, but it's the truth. It's like these are formative years in your opinions of both people and how you interact with people and like views on gender and views on women and things like that. And I get it. It's like it's fiction, but it's something where it's like it's fiction for if. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, part of it is that, you know, we have to realize that Japan, and I don't understand Japan's culture you know, all the way, but Japan does have a very different culture and a very different view on these things. But at the same time, it's been shown that, like, you know, they do have the capacity to, like, get that there's, you know, maybe you can do this a little different, like, so. And I think, like Cameron said, it's like, you know, 13 and 14 you know, 15-year-olds, like if that's their target age range and this is just kind of what they're shoving at them, like, you know, then what does that really say about what they think 13 and 14? Well, and obviously 13 and 14-year-olds want that, like, you know, to a degree, but like, I mean, I liked Lavina when I was 14, and I thought it was funny.
Oh, like, I used to enjoy Lavina as well. Now I look back at it, like, how did I watch this shit?
It's really cringy. But
why did I read so much of this manga?
One thing that I want to actually go back to is you made a point, Lucas, about like, oh, it's not really for us, so we can't get that analytical. It's kind of like that kind of comes off.
But I'm saying it's one of those things. It's like we're looking at as an adult's perspective when we are not the target audience. It's not made for us, so for us to sit there and.
To be fair, the vast majority of anime isn't made for.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, and I'm
adults, but like foreigners. I mean,
it's we can sit there and have our own opinions on stuff, but we're outsiders to this. Whereas they're not catering to us in any way.
Yeah,
they.
I guess I don't know.
We are not an export market for them. We are a bonus. They are not marketing stuff for us.
That is true, and I find that funny that people like. I don't know. I mean, piracy is a big issue, but it is something where like.
I've been to a couple panels on it where like it's actual people who are in the industry. They don't give a fuck what we want. Like everything they sell offshore. Is bonus to them. They are very. We are making this for. Our population. We don't give a shit about overseas.
Well, here's the deal. Like, at the end of the day, yes, being analytical of it isn't going to change the anime industry, and I don't think any of us really pretend like it will.
Yeah.
But really at the same time, well, and that's fine. But you know all I'm saying is that we have. This is basically a show of our opinions, and you know, and that's what I mean, if people watch us, which they don't, but if they do, like, they're obviously here to hear what we think about things and, you know, what we can discern from them. And there's nothing wrong with stating your opinion, but as long as we're all aware of the fact that, like, we don't pretend like we're the authority on, or the moral authority on, you know, when you can have jiggling tits in anime. Like, this is just how we feel. Like, I mean, one thing I did actually kind of like, or at least I was kind of interested in, is the fact that, like, there is a very clear difference between when a character is wearing a bra and not. Like,
I didn't notice that, actually.
That it's kind of weird. It's something. It's slightly more realistic in a way, like, because normally when you watch anime with giant tits, they're always like, you know, balloons, and they're really firm and they're, you know, right in the right spot, and they jiggle in weird ways that tits don't really jiggle. But this one, like, you know, like, there's, like, when Darkness is wearing her armor, like, you know, they're the normal, like, balloons with little tips on them, but when she's not, they're sagging down more closely to where actual breasts would fall, you know, if you weren't wearing a bra. And that's interesting to me, like, whether or not I mean, obviously
they take into account support.
Yeah, well, it's just interesting. Yeah,
well, because it's one thing, like, you know, armor doesn't flex. Armor it's made one piece. This is how it sits. So this is how it will be until the end of time. So it's
depends on the armor, but sure, yeah.
And, like, you know, even Darkness's armor is like, it seems to involve a lot of cloth and leather or something like that. You know,
well, like, her chest piece is plate, isn't it?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
Yeah.
I honestly wasn't paying that much attention to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I always.
She clearly had a chainmail skirt. Didn't you guys pay attention? I'm just playing.
I'm looking at it now. Yeah, it's not really. For some reason, I always just assumed plate mail because she's a heavy class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was it was a coat over the armor.
Yeah. I mean, she is a tank, so yeah. But
she also doesn't hit anything. Like, that's kind of the joke.
Yeah, well, it's a joke that she is the tank class in an MMO. Tanks aren't there to do damage. They're there entirely to absorb damage. Yep. Like, they're the people that pull aggro, so the monster's constantly attacking them, while other people heal the tank and attack the monster. Like, it makes sense. And it's also kind of like, I did kind of like the absurdity of it, where it's like, yeah, if you did that in real life, that wouldn't work. Like, you know, it's just kind of like...
It was just great when she went to attack the Dullahan and missed the standing target entirely.
Like, are you fucking kidding? Yeah.
Huge power attack, cut both rocks next to him, missed him entirely. Like, huh?
Yeah, I did like that, and I mean, I
like the Dullahan in general. Like,
I
like that. Yeah.
I thought he was an interesting character. Like, there's this moment where, like, he's kind of like questioning the main characters, and, like, because he's a head, like, he literally has to tilt his head to cock it to the side, and I thought that was really
I did like
clever.
that. Yeah, I thought they did some really clever stuff with him, especially.
I liked it where he came back and just like, why haven't you gone to the castle?
Yeah, and it's like, you're letting your friend down. Yeah, it's just this thing where it's...
My favorite part is like, hey, what do you mean you haven't been back? You've been blowing my castle every day.
Yeah.
Once I started shooting something with someone in it, I couldn't stop. So I had to keep going back there. It's like, well, you can't make it back alone. So
it's just, and it's...
like, fuck you guys.
Well, I like that. Yeah. Well, I like this character that he's also like, he's not this incredibly evil person. Like, he's this bad guy, but it's something where, like, at the same time, it's like, hey, knock it off, dude. Come on.
Like,
and like, and it was pretty much like, dude, just say you're sorry. Just say you won't do it again, and I'll leave. Like, and it's like, no, I'm this incredible Archman. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's just this thing where it's like, fine, die. Like, you know, it's just something where it's like, do you want me to do, like, you're making me do this kind of thing, where it's
like, that's I do enjoy shows where, like, the bad guys aren't really bad.
Yeah.
Like the Dullahan, or like they're not shown to be bad. Like, yeah, I'm bad, but really, I just want you to stop blowing up my castle. Like, is that so much to ask?
Gray, yeah.
It's like, I
like that.
I'm an evil guy, but can you not blow up my castle? I haven't done anything to you.
It's like, I just moved in here, and I'm getting, and now you're blowing me up every day. Like, how do you think that makes me feel?
Who's the villain now?
Yeah, do I blow up your place? No, I don't. Yeah, I did like some of the things they did. I like the things with the cabbage swarm. I like that. I like the idea of that. And then later on, it's like, why did we get that much money? Well, you see, you got a lot of lettuce in there. It's like, that's not worth as much. And it's like, all right, I kind of like that. It was goofy, but, it's just a little cute. Like, darkness. No, it's like, just getting hit by these cute little cabbages and bouncing off. It's like, no,
the cabbages, the cabbages of give zero fucks.
Yeah. I liked it. I like that it's. I thought that was cute. And I kind of like the snowball thing was
the snow sprites are pretty funny. It's like, I want to make a refrigerator.
Yeah, well, I kind of like that, but I also kind of saw that as like that's moving. Like
they were exactly the same thing as the cabbages. Like
yeah. I like I like the point that they made the joke about. It's like, oh yeah, the whatever, the wandering spirit or the
winter shogun.
Yeah, the winter shogun. Yeah, you may know of this story from Japan. It's like, what, the winter shogun? I don't think that's a real thing, by the way.
No, but I like it is. But it's basically it's some neat who was a shogun who died doing this.
Yeah, and it's these cheating Japanese players. They just fucking hack and like, yeah, it's just this guy who's just OP and like bored.
It's basically the snow sprites were possessed by the spirit of a dead Japanese samurai hacker who has a thing for samurai, and so he somehow managed to form this sprite into this fucking baller ass shogun.
Yeah. I thought it was good, but
the winter shogun. Quick, bow your head.
Yeah, quick. And it's like, I thought it was interesting.
The thing about it for me was that like it did a lot of things that were really clever, and it did a bunch of things that were legitimately funny. Like the frog thing was hysterical to me.
Like the cows getting swallowed.
Those were fun. Yeah.
The thing for me is it didn't really feel like it had a lot of substance at the end of the day. Like like it was like, okay, it's funny and it's kind of a parody, and you can say what you want about the fan servicey stuff, but it wasn't. There wasn't really like. And I'm not saying that every anime has to have like an overarching storyline. I mean, Cowboy Bebop did a very good job of having a lot of standalone episodes that like.
That show's pretty much all standalone, with exception of like 3 or 4,
And those 3 or 4 were kind of the worst ones, in my opinion. Like,
I was like the Vicious versus.
I don't know. I was thinking about that recently, and it's like, I don't know, like, meh.
They weren't like, they were good episodes, but they were like, they felt like this is the main story, and like, and it's not, and it's kind of like almost there just because it has to be like, but the ones that were really good that like everyone loved were like, all the different random ones, like, like the first episode or the
right. Yeah, like Cowboy Bebop always seemed like it was a random show more than one with an actual hidden storyline to it, where it's like, hey, we're just gonna follow this bounty hunter crew as they fly around and take out bounties, which in itself would have been a great show on its own.
Yeah. Which I guess, I mean, you could kind of say, I don't know, this it doesn't really, I don't know, this does it a bit differently, where it's like, you could apply it to this in the sense of, I mean, this is a party group that's going around just taking on quests, but at the same time, there's still an overarching theme, you know what I mean? Like, this has a more, I don't know.
Well, it's like,
it's
like they don't really, like, it's like it has an overarching theme, and like, but at the same time, it kind of almost hints at there's like progression in like, eventually they do get a mansion for like 2 episodes. Like,
see, I really didn't like that. I kind of thought it would have been cool to, like, that seemed more like,
it seemed half-assed to me.
Yes, and for everything else, it seemed really good, like progression, where it's like, I don't have any fucking money. Like, I'm living in a stable. It's like, oh, I bought some sheets. Yeah, like, I really like the, I don't have this ability, but I worked hard, and over the last several episodes, I've gained a level up, so I'm learning this ability, and I use that ability in the future to help. Like, I like that, where it was kind of this building upon itself, and it felt more like, I'm not saying a world that was lived in, but like, It felt more like, oh, this
showed the struggle.
Yeah, and but it's not just showing the struggle as in like, oh, my life's hard. It's like it's this sense of accomplishment of like, yeah, you started off really terrible. You're still not great, but you're moving in the right direction. I like that. I also really liked the same episode with the Gators. I really like the idea of that guy, the hero, whatever. There's a
I can't
hero.
remember his name, but yeah,
there's a hero that, you know, similar situation, like, oh, died, came into this world, and like, oh, you pick an item. He picks like this amazing
sword Grant.
Yeah, which I guess is like supposed to be like soul bound to him or something. He's the only one who can wield it, and I like that he's this guy, and he's like, he has fallen, I guess, for this goddess, and it's like, don't worry, goddess, I will make this all right. Like, oh, I will save this world for you. But it's something where, like, you don't think about it, but this is her fucking job, right? It's like, it's like a waitress or a hostess at a restaurant where it's like, yeah, she's nice and she's giving all the spiel and seems really great, but like, if you go, I don't know, if you go and try and
but
talk
at the end
to
of the
someone,
day, like there's a new guy coming later on, and she's gonna do the exact same thing, and then after she's done, she, you know, like she makes it very apparent that like she doesn't give a shit about this guy, like she's like, she's like, let's ditch him.
and it's like, oh my god, let's like, I mean, it's
like awkward.
I just like it how they did actually throw contrast in there with the second goddess. Eris, who was when Kazuma died fighting the snow spirits, she legitimately mourned his death and was like legitimately sad about it. Like, I saw your file. God, you got fucked. Here's a fucking easy road. Like, we're gonna take care of you. Don't worry. You know, it's like, oh, this is amazing. Like, someone who actually gives a shit, not like that fucking shithole that I'm going back to.
I kind of wish they did something different with that.
Yeah, she also like weirdly somehow flubs whether or not she can send him back to the real world, and part of it's like he actually realizes that, you know, he likes these people to a degree, and then like somehow like he gets rezzed basically, and by Aqua, and Aqua's like, hey, it's that hat goddess, like, you know, fuck you, you don't know what you're talking about, and she's like, well, I don't know what I'm talking about, by the way, I'm wearing pads. Like, and I don't know. It was just kind of like
it's one of those that Aqua is like one of the head goddesses, or all the other goddesses are like below her.
They actually say this.
She's flexing her muscles and going, "Oh, it's that fucking bitch Eris. I'm three ranks above her. Tell her to fucking do what I say." Or
they actually say it in the first episode. Remember there's the priestess, a priest that they borrow money from. Yeah. He didn't worship Aqua. He worshipped Eris, and Eris has a subservient relationship to Aqua, and it's something where it's like, oh, like that's her. I actually like the idea. I kind of liked part of it where it's like I kind of saw it more as like someone trying to close a sale, where it's like, yeah, you know, it really sucked, and let me do all this for you, but it's like. It's kind of like a car dealer, like a car salesman who's like, let me see if they knocked that $500 fee off, man. Don't you? I'm hooking you up, and it's like, no, dude, fuck you. You're still making a ton of money, and you're doing this to close a sale. Like, it's, you know what I mean? It's something where you're doing something that seems like a favor, but also it's like, this is my job, and this is how I get rewarded. I kind of saw it more as that.
But it's their job to process people, like, you know.
But I would have really liked it if, like, the main character's like, oh, you know what? Yeah, fuck, let's do that. Come on, reincarnation instead. Like, Eris is like, hold on, buddy. I'm kind of like, I guess Monty Python, the Castle Anthrax. Yeah. Where, like, it's like, we're here to rescue you. It's like, well, you know, but
could you come back?
No, yeah, could you come back? Yeah, there's too much peril. It's like, no, I could use a bit of peril. No, it's too peril for you. It's like, no, I like peril. Like, something where it's like no good deed goes unpunished, in the sense of like they're trying to do something great. It's like, you fucking idiots, you ruin everything. Like, that would have been to me more funny. But
he kind of sort of does that. Like, he's kind of like he mentioned several times
that he wanted to go back. It's basically Aqua said,
I guess,
bitch, you're coming back, and Eris went, okay, you're going back, and he's just like,
Yeah, but they would have like he kind of mentions later. It's like, why couldn't I have had like a goddess like Eris who was actually pretty and I actually cared about, or actually cared about me?
Yeah.
But it's like it could have been way more funny. It would have been way more funny if they literally just dragged him out of like he's like, oh, I get to stay with Aqua, or I get to stay with Eris for the rest of my days, or actually I get to go home. It's like nope, you're coming back. It's like, wait, no, fuck that. Like.
Yeah, I thought it would have been funny. I really liked I like the back to that other guy, the other hero. I like that he's just like he believes that you're like, yeah, I'm the chosen one to save this world, and he doesn't realize that he's kind of a dime a dozen, and like that he has this like
deal that everyone's getting.
Yeah, he has this soul-bound weapon, but it's like Kazuma can just kind of break the rules. It's like, well, I stole it, so like it's bound on user or whatever.
And he just kind of like hits him on the head.
And it's like, well, I have it, so like, what do you want from me?
It's like, well, give it back. And he's like, no, and then he goes and it's like, pretty please give it back. It's like, well, I sold it.
I like that too, where it's like
I couldn't use it, so I sold it.
I kind of see
there was the problem with him not having it anymore. It's like, what? And it's like,
well, I like that.
I don't have it anymore.
It always kind of reminded me of like in I don't know, something like Diablo or some other game like that, where you'd read like the flavor text of something. It's like this sword has been passed down to generations, holds the souls of all its dead, and it's like, oh, that's interesting. Here, Herodric Cube, or like you sell it, or like
I need more inventory space. Yes.
Like I don't have enough space. Fuck that. You're just throwing this super cool like stuff on the ground, which. I kind of like the idea of like, what, you fucking threw it away? It's like, yeah, I can't carry all that shit, like, or why wouldn't I sell it? Like, gold's a lot lighter. Like, I like the idea of
use the sword. I can use gold. So.
Yeah, I like the idea of just this. It's not really my weapon style. So like the staff of Ra or the undead or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, whatever. It's not my character class. Throw it away. Like. I like that idea, and
they made mention of this dude like later on when they were fighting.
Yeah, it's like, man, I wish that guy was here. And it's
no, they were like, we have an ace in the hole. Like,
when the sword shows up, and it's like, oh, the guy sold his sword.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, well.
And I really wish they had brought him back and had him like either had somehow gotten the sword back, or
I want him to use like a knife, like a dagger. Like this is all like
he has a butter knife, and he's like, fuck it. I don't know. Just a broken, rusty sword, or something like that.
Like he shows back up, his armor's all fucked up, because he says he doesn't have the magical sword. He can't one hit him anymore, so he's just getting his ass kicked by like low level monsters now.
He has this kind of deadness in his eyes, where it's like, just like, what has become of my life? Like, I like the idea of that.
His armor gets decreasingly like in bad shape as he reappears.
See, there's like a lot of stuff that they could have done with this, and I know they're getting a second season. They said it's already in production at the end of the series, and like I would be down to watch the second series just to see if like some of these other characters get a little more development or get brought back. But a lot of it, like Cameron said, a lot of it felt like really compressed, like and kind of like.
Well, again, only a 10-episode season.
Yeah, but that's not really an excuse. Like,
I mean, I get it, dude.
They still covered an awful lot for 10 episodes.
Yeah, but that's a bit like fucking. Okay, let me put it this way. I saw a bit of I watched a commentary with Batman v Superman, and it's like they cover. Yeah, I agree. No, that's the point. It's a shitty movie, and they just riff on it. And it's just like, they cover a lot there. They cover like, here's Wonder Woman. Here's Lex Luthor. Blah blah blah. By the way, Doomsday. Oh, blah blah blah. And like they cover a shit ton of stuff. They don't do it well. They don't do it well. They don't convey it well. It's exactly. And it's like, fucking like they introduce all this stuff. And it's like, well, it's a 3-hour movie. What do you expect? I can't convey all that information. It's like, that's the point. They shouldn't have fucking done it. Exactly. Like, I get it.
That's a different. I don't equate that to the same. Like,
no, I can't, but I kind of do. Where it's something where like, okay, you need to work within your limitations in the sense of like, there's a way of compressing that you could have. I think it's dumb that.
Here's why I don't think that works. Mm-hmm. And let me just say it quick. They already know that they're making more movies.
Yeah.
They've already got the budgets and all the approval for all the Justice League movies. Mm-hmm. So they have to build that pre-story.
Yeah.
When they began Konosuba, they literally we have 10 episodes to tell our story. Let's get as much as we can out there. And then halfway through, it was such a hit that they got greenlit for another season. So, I mean, it's one of those.
I get that.
To try and convey as much as we can in this 10 episodes.
I get
that's
that.
That's all we get to show. Whereas
but
Superman,
do that right. Like right now, they're not. Like it's something where, like, oh, we're glazing over these cool stories, and it's something where I get it. They want to get to that ending, and that ending was just. I don't know about you, but like
the ending was kind of like lackluster. Like,
and it's like, why? Like, let's have this big fight scene, and like, but everyone's really cool, and it's like that's not really what the story's been about. And I thought that really kind of took away from it as well. Like, oh, it's this killer death spider. Like, I did actually like. To be fair, I did like the idea of like. Yeah, well, I mean, they made mention of the Destroyer, but that would have been cool as like a cliffhanger for the new season. Like, oh my God, what's that? The Destroyer's coming. Dun dun dun. Cut the credits. You see it on the horizon. Cut the credits. You know, like that would have been a cool setup for the following season. But instead, they had to have this big fucking battle with this. Like it had kind of been made mention, but it's like, I mean, it's just like, oh, it's this laser spider, and it's like, okay, like.
Well, I mean, at the same point though, like when at the point where they got renewed, all this shit's already been storyboarded out.
I know, but that's
the time to redo it.
That's my point. They should have storyboarded it out better. Like this should have been like, hey, we'll set this up. Maybe we'll work on this if we get picked up. If not, like we have a direction we can go to if we get picked up for a second season.
Well,
if we don't get picked up,
that is like none of us have read the light novels, so we don't know how it progresses at that point of the story.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is they could have done this better. I would have preferred if instead of having that, frankly, pretty boring last episode, if they had instead spent the time fleshing out at least the story with the Lich. And there's the other thing, was it episode 9, where it's like that, again, there are things that they could have done with that. I really like the idea of like the symbiotic relationship and like whatnot. Like I like parts of that. It was executed poorly in the sense of like, it's so out of character. It's so,
it is really out of character. Like,
and it's not like what, this isn't a dream. Like, oh no, she actually thinks this. It's not like he's freaking out. Like, there's a way again of doing that, but
he actually like he didn't even freak out about it at all.
In fact, exactly.
He defended the succubus. And then he pretended like it never happened the next day. Like,
and it's just like, I don't know. There's things that both the Lich could have been fleshed out, because that seems like a cool story. That I would have loved an episode of that. And then like, I don't know, the fucking succubus. Yeah, that could happen, could not. I don't know. Like, I like parts of that.
It was like on paper, it's kind of an interesting concept, but it's also kind of like just a lame excuse for edgy shit. Like,
and it was a really lame excuse. Like, I don't know.
And it also comes really like, it also just came really like out of the blue, because it's like the most of the series. There's a little bit of fan service, but it isn't. And like Darkness is kind of like got her perverse thing going on, but that's
also clearly
it's clearly very funny. Like,
that's the point. It's for humor. It's not. I mean, it is still like, oh, look at my butt or whatever. But it's also like, it's done in a humorous manner. And then this is so jarring because it's like,
and episode 9 is just
there's
like
nothing
straight etchy. Like,
there's nothing funny about it. Here are my tits, and it's like, okay,
and
like,
not even just tits, like really, 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 really big. Like, and they're like, I get it. They're succubi. They're supposed to be like very scantily clad, but like. It's like, you know, it's not even like she's really even sensually touching herself. Like, she occasionally like literally flicks her boob, like for some weird reason.
See, you could have done something really cool, like, and the succubi are always like, oh yeah, like, but they're just talking about mundane details, and it's like, why are you like, fucking doing that?
So if you sign like the paper here and whatnot, you know, we have our terms and conditions, and like,
they have their legitimate business.
End user license agreement. Like, I mean, there's things you could have done. Like, click yes. Like, you could have done, you know what I mean? Like, you could have done something funny where, again, it's like they're doing fan servicey stuff, but it's like, the fuck is wrong with these people? Like, you can do it in a humorous way that still moves the story along. Like.
So, like, I guess the real question at the end of the day, for me at least, and we're at about an hour, so maybe we have about 20 minutes left. Before
I don't know. I'm fine. I think we're done pretty well. I think we're fine wrapping it up now.
Well, I mean, we obviously want to go to the homework and everything, but at the end of the day, for me, it's like, are we kind of wishing that for me at least, am I kind of wishing that this series is something that it isn't? Is it really a parody of like Sword Art Online, and is it really kind of a parody of all these tropes, or is it just kind of like another anime with all the anime tropes that did some clever stuff?
It's rehashing.
I really don't think it's designed to be like parodying it, because I think they would have done a lot more differently. I think they are trying to do it in some ways, but it's really they're just trying to take it to that extreme as a comedy versus an actual like serious. Because all these other shows are all doing it in a serious type of like action adventure way. Where here it's like, all right, here's a different take on it. Here's the comedy aspect of it, where all the same stuff is happening, but in a different way. I don't think it's actually designed to be parody.
Yeah, I mean, if it was, it failed in that regard. Like, it's something where
I don't see it as a parody show. Yeah. I just see it as a comedy show done in the same way, but with taking those same tropes that you'd find in any other show of this type and just using them in a comedic way.
Yeah, it's not really deconstruct. Yeah, it's a thing where you could look at it as pointing fun of these tropes, but it's also like it's still using those tropes. Yeah, and like. Yeah, it's kind of making fun of fan service, but still using a shit ton of it. So it's like, I don't know. I
just think it's a show that doesn't take itself seriously. That's all it is.
Yeah,
I mean, it certainly doesn't take itself very seriously.
I definitely don't see it as a parody show. So maybe that's my disconnect with your arguments. Because I never went into it thinking it's a parody show. It's a comedy that's funny to me. So
yeah, I mean,
if you watch it thinking it's parody, you're gonna look at it a different way if you just watch it as a comedy, I think.
I mean, I don't know. Some things it did well. There were a lot of things. I think it's the frustrating thing here is that it had more potential. It had potential to be something greater than it was.
Oh, I know that feeling very well.
Yeah. I mean, there's a story of a lot of animes. Yeah. But it's something where
a second season.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't. Anyway. But yeah, anything else? So what were your scores roughly out of 10?
I think I rated it an 8. So
I think I gave it a 6, and I was leaning towards a 7, but like I think I'm gonna keep it at a 6. Like
your loss.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was a great show for me. I really enjoyed it. It was funny.
I thought it was interesting. It kept me entertained for a little while. After like about halfway through, it just kind of dragged for me. Like it's like and it's got some funny stuff that kind of made me smirk and snigger. But like other than that, it was just kind of it wasn't that engaging for me. Like I kind of was really glad that it was only 10 episodes, because I don't think I could have lasted any longer. Like
yeah. I was giving it an 8. It was going to be a high 8 actually, and then hit about episode 7, 8, 9, and like that, like the whole thing with the Lich and like just the change in pace, the huge amount of fans, all this dropped at a point. It's like it's a 7.
Y'all guys are much more harder than I am on these shows.
Nah, man, like I really enjoyed it. I kind of feel a bit like, not to a much lesser extent, but like when I watched Sword Art Online, the first like 4 or 5 episodes were really cool.
I like
and
it was 13.
Dark. And, no. The first hear me out. Hear me out. The first 4 or 5 was really cool and interesting and dark, and it was like using and like, but it was using it in an interesting way where people are like, fuck this. I'm like, people are dying, and it's like, I don't want to die, so I'm not leaving town. I'm not
jumping off the fucking barricade.
Finds out my party's been wiped, and so he's just like, fuck this, I'm killing myself. Like that was really interesting stuff. And then they're like, oh, slice of life, haha, fishing episode, and it's like, god damn it, like
fuck the fishing episode.
Like all it completely changed. Yeah. But I mean, like it's
I do appreciate, like, here's the thing, like I personally didn't like the fishing episode, but I appreciate the fact that it was there, because it showed what everyone who like, there are millions of people who play games like WoW and like all these other MMORPGs that literally just go out there and fish and explore and don't do the quests, don't try and do the boss raids. That's not what they play the game for. So it's interesting that they took an episode to try and show how they lived.
Kind of, except it's like there's a real big fish in there. And it's just it was something.
But there's in all the games. Like there's always a lake with a fucking gigantic monster fish in there.
But there's I thought was not bad.
Well, here's what I will say.
Sharp tonal difference, and whatever. Keep going.
Well, here's what I will say about the fishing episode. I watched an episode of The Simpsons earlier.
I can't believe this.
There's an episode of The Simpsons that I watched recently where Homer's basically going on a retreat with Marge and some other people from his church to to save his marriage, basically, because Marge is like, you don't give a shit about me, and he's like,
not really wrong.
And so the whole episode ends up being about Homer hears from these 4 old guys at this random bar on the side of the road that there's this giant fish at the lake that he's going to, and the whole episode ends up being about him going out and trying to catch this fish anyway, even though he should be paying attention to Marge. And of course, Marge is really aggravated at him. And so eventually he catches the fish, kind of by accident. And he gets it back to the dock, and Marge is like, you were out fishing when you were supposed to be paying attention to me. The fish matters more than me. And he goes, yeah, no, I can prove it to you. And he shoves the fish off of the boat, and he's like, I guess the fish didn't really matter. I guess you mattered. And he gives her a hug. So there's an episode that's literally about going out and catching a fish that was actually had a really heartfelt character development thing. I don't think that the Sword Art on
meat.
Definitely not. I want to put that. I'm not defending the fishing episode.
Yeah.
I just kind of like that it's there.
Oh, you're well sounded.
No, I'm not.
Someone's a fishing episode apologist.
I even came out in the beginning of that statement and said that I didn't like the fishing episode. I just kind of liked that they did something like that.
Fucking with you, dude.
Yeah, I know. All right, so I think that's.
I think it's interesting. That's all.
All right,
I just like it. I thought it was interesting.
It's been about an hour. What are we doing for homework?
All right, so my homework this time. It's on the Crunchy.
Cool.
Terror for Mars, the uncensored version.
How many episodes is it?
It is 13.
Terror for Mars?
TerraFor.
Oh, Terra. Oh.
Terraform Mars.
Yep. So turning Mars in habitable.
With Earth becoming increasingly overpopulated, an ambitious plan has been put into place to terraform Mars using mold and cockroaches.
Mold and cockroaches, eh? Sounds great. Anyway, that's Bakarama, ladies and gentlemen. And this, I think, is our first actually good episode. Weird. Or at least kind of good.
Hey, we've had some good episodes that never made it out to release.
The only halfway decent episode we had was still 2.5 hours long and never got released. So great podcast.
It was not 2.5 hours long, but
dude, it fucking felt like it. Let's be honest.
Hey, I liked my episode. That all my homework gets ignored.
Yeah,
I've never done an episode with my homework. Everything that I do gets thrown away.
Anyway, I think that's a good spot.
I was episode 3 and it never got released.
Peace out, A-Town down. Love, peace, and pussy grease, brother. Something.
We get it, Cameron. You want to end the cast, and on that note, we will end the cast. Thank you very much for joining us. All zero of you.
All one person. Thank you.
Hi. I don't even remember his name. The one guy, Curtis. Hi, Curtis. Okay. All right. See you guys later.